Authorities say Scott Falater stabbed his wife over and over and then held her head underwater. But in a bizarre twist, he is not denying it.
You have to know and intend to kill somebody to be guilty of murder. And he was in an unconscious state when he killed her and therefore was not guilty of the crime.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining us. It is a high-profile trial that's already received national attention, and it's set to begin in just about an hour. Scott Falater will go before a jury that will decide whether he should be convicted in the death of his wife.
Why are you asking for the death penalty? Here's a man who did not have a criminal record.
We need to focus on the victim at some point. This is a woman who suffered for approximately 15 minutes at the hands of her husband.
But Mr. Martinez, are you ready to proceed with your opening statement at this time?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Juan Martinez was known as a bulldog prosecutor who had never lost a murder case.
Juan came out, gun blazing.
Good afternoon to all of you. This individual here, the defendant, Scott Falater, in a sense, baptized his wife, Yarmila Falater, into the afterlife. And it all started at about 10 o'clock in the evening in one of the remote areas, one of the darker areas of their backyard next to the pool pump. I wanted them to believe that this is something that he wanted to happen. This is something that wasn't a mistake. Your name, sir?
I'm Philip Greg Koons, MD. I'm the chief medical examiner.
The medical examiner testified that Yarmila Falater had 44 stab wounds. Most of them were defensive wounds, but some were fatal.
And with regard to these 44 wounds that we've been talking about, the 44 include the cuts to the hand, correct?
Yes, they do.
Based on what the medical examiner told us about the stab wounds, we believe that once he had her near the pool pump, he actually put his left arm around her mouth so that she wouldn't scream. Then he loped his right arm around her shoulder and began to stab her. She knew what was going on around her, but she could not do anything about it.
This is the left side of the neck.
The day that the medical examiner showed all the pictures of Yarmila, that tore me apart. I saw the very first picture and I couldn't take any more. And spent however long it lasted just looking at the table in front of me. I could not look up. I don't want to remember Yarm that way.
If you're sitting in the courtroom hearing the evidence, it's very hard to get past anybody stabbing someone else 44 times, much less, a husband stabbing his wife 44 times. And then he had his bombshell witness, the next door neighbor, Greg Koons.
And who are the neighbors to the city?
Scott and Yarmila Falater.
And drawing your attention back to January 16th of 1997.
Based on his testimony, he did not see the initial attack.
I saw a person laying on the ground, headed towards the house, feet towards the pool equipment. My impression was that she was drunk.
There wasn't any evidence presented by anybody as to how the two of them got outside and how the scenario was that he ended up stabbing her. Greg's eyewitness testimony is he did not see the stabbing. He looked over the fence and he was able to see a woman on the pool deck. And then he saw lights going on and off in the house.
The next thing, the light was on upstairs, that window up top, which is the master bedroom. And Mr. Falater appeared through that and walked through my field of view.
The prosecution is trying to make the case that Scott is wide awake, fully conscious, and doing a series of tasks in the minutes after the attack on his wife.
He came out of the bathroom, shut the light off, walked through the bedroom, shut the light off, and then went downstairs to the kitchen. So what do you see him doing in the kitchen, if anything?
The next time I see him, he's walking from the kitchen back into the living room, and it looks like he's wringing his hands.
He started sort of doing this with his hands in a washing motion. And as he walked towards the Arcadia door, opened the sliding door all the way.
Greg testifies that he sees Scott putting on gloves as he approaches Yarmila's body lying next to the pool.
Did he actually have them on, or was he pulling them on?
One hand was already on. He was pulling on the other.
Then what happens?
He moved her legs around to the side. He knelt down behind her and pushed her into the water.
That's not enough for him. So what he does is he actually then leans sort of into the pool with the gloves that he has on, holds her head and sticks it down in the water. Then he goes upstairs. And the police, of course, come out.
Greg Koons was the bombshell witness because Scott said he had zero idea how any of this happened. You had one person who was able to testify, this is what I saw. And a lot of the things that Greg Koons saw were damning.
Now let me take you to 1996. We didn't dispute the fact that he was the one that stabbed her 44 times. And it was perplexing. Why did this happen? They consider themselves to be each other's best friends.
I mean, even as reporters, we try to find narratives or through lines as to why a murder would take place. And here there really wasn't a motive, a reason. These were two high school sweethearts who had been married for 20 years, raised two kids from the outside. There was nothing here to suggest any trouble.
And there's absolutely no history of any kind of violence or abuse from either side in this particular family. All you know about are two people that were devoted to one another and loved one another. And that's why this whole thing is such a senseless act.
After Yarmila Falater is murdered, Scott's family is totally bewildered. This is not their mild-mannered, non-violent son or brother, until they remember that Scott used to sleepwalk as a child.
And she said, I just picked her up and threw her across the kitchen. I don't remember that incident at all either.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.